Hello everyone, I'm Yashmakan and this is part 7 where we are creating a WhatsApp loan application in Flutter. If you have missed the previous parts, then worry not, I have already mentioned them right here as well as in the description box as well. In today's video, we are going to integrate Firebase in our Flutter application. We are going to integrate WebRTC to make video and audio calling to other users, and we are also going to integrate Firebase FCM messaging so that whenever we call a user, then the user can get notification for accept or decline, so that the user can accept the call and then we both can chat using WebRTC that we are going to develop in this video. So if you're interested in this video, then make sure to subscribe my YouTube channel as I'll be uploading more of these amazing videos in future. So with that being said, let's dive in. Hello everyone. So we are on our laptop and let me just open up my Android Studio. And now as you can see, this is the complete project. I have added some new folders that we'll talk about in a moment. All right, but first and for the most, I should run the app so that we can see what is happening in UI. Also, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to run the emulator so that you guys can also see the screen, what is happening, right? Great. So I'm going to put this right here and I'm going to wait till the app is completed. Yeah, so as you can see, our app is completely installed on my Android phone, and you can see that on my emulator as well. So this is our WhatsApp loan app, what we have created till now. Awesome. Now, what we can do is that in this video, we are going to create this video calling and audio calling feature. So what basically it will happen, so let me just open up Paint and let me explain what is the procedure we are going to follow in this video. Okay. So suppose this is your mobile phone, okay, and this is your friend's mobile phone that you want to audio call or video call. Awesome. Now what you have to do is that inside this Flutter app, in both the apps we'll be running WebRTC, right? Awesome. In both the apps. So basically what we'll do is your phone will create a room in our database. So for example, we have a database right here. So your phone is going to create a room right here in the database, and then your phone is gonna call the Firebase FCM. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So whenever you click on this audio call button that you are having right here, then we are going to initialize our WebRTC plugin. We are going to create a room in our DB, in our database, and then we are going to send a notification to Firebase saying that you have to send notification to my friend to accept the call. So what I meant by that is we'll call Firebase and our API. So basically I have created a API using Python here. Okay, so so I have created a REST API here. And that REST API will call Firebase we'll call Firebase FCM. Now that Firebase FCM, what it will do is that it will trigger the notification inside my friend's phone saying that I am calling and you can accept or decline the call. So it will be available in the notification. Okay. Now, whenever my friend accepts the notification and the app opens on the video calling page, then with the REST API, I'm also going to pass the room ID. So whatever I created room, so for example, I created a room and saved in the database, then that same room ID, I'm going to pass it via the REST API and FCM, and then use that to join that particular room from the database, right? So in this way, once the WebRTC connection is successful, then these two phones can communicate simultaneously, right? So in this video, we are gonna do how we can create a video and audio chat app using all these things inside Flutter. So till now, I have created this basic UI, and now first what we have to do is that inside your pubspec.yaml, go here, and I have added some packages that we are gonna need. Firstly, I have added Firebase modules. These are needed: the Firebase database, Cloud Firestore, and we'll also be needing Firebase messaging. So the database that I talked about is nothing but we are going to use the Firebase database. And the FCM that we are going to use is Firebase messaging. Okay. Then I'm going to import the UUID package as well. Okay, so it is nothing but the ID of the mobile phone that we can fetch from this package. Another package I'm using is the awesome notification. This I'm using to show the notification to accept or decline the call. So whenever I call someone, that someone will receive a notification with accept or decline the call, which I'll show you in the demo at the end of the video. And then I'm using the main Flutter WebRTC package. After importing these, what you have to do, go to the Android folder, go to app, src, main, and inside Android manifest.xml, you have to add these permissions as well. Why we have to add these? Because we are going to use WebRTC, so we'll be needing the camera permission, the audio permission, the Bluetooth permission, and the internet, and all of these permission that I copied from the documentation. So we have to paste these as well. After doing that, what you have to do is first let's create a Firebase account. So head over to your browser and here you have to go to the Firebase console. I'm going to open mine here. Great. So my Firebase console is opening, and as you can see, we can create a project. So I'm going to click here. You can follow the exact steps that I'm doing. Now I'm going to create a project name. So I'm going to call it WhatsApp redesign. Okay, WhatsApp redesign. Then I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to hit continue. Select the default account. and this will create a Firebase project. So this project I'll be using for all the messaging, the notification part, and for the database as well. So it's completed and I'm going to click continue, and my project is set up successfully. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna click on Android. Now I'm going to pass the application ID. Okay, so mine is this one, which you can find inside Android app build.gradle. Paste that, WhatsApp clone redesign. After then you have to install the Google services.json. Okay, now go to Android app, and inside here you have to pass the file that we just installed. Okay, like this. Okay, it's not completed. I have to do it again. Or give me a minute. I can copy this from here and I can paste this. Now I can remove this and change the name to Google services.json and click OK. Okay. Now after then I have to click next and then add this line inside my build.gradle. So we have to go to the project level build.gradle, and then we have to add this line right here. Okay. After then we have to add the dependencies and the plugin for the Google services inside app level build.gradle. So firstly add these two lines and also have to add this line here. After then click next and click continue, and our WhatsApp application is set up. Now what you have to do is that go to build, go to the Firestore database. So we are using Cloud Firestore. So we are going to set up that also in the console. So create database. I'm going to use test mode here. Click next and let's set that and click enable. Yep, and our database is successfully configured. So that's it. That's how we configure Firebase with Flutter. Now I can use it for the database and for the Firebase messaging as well. Now let's talk about inside the Flutter code how we are consuming Firebase messaging and how everything is happening. So inside our main.dart, as you can see, I have all the imports which are not that important. Then I am having a user model with variable name as user. So this is hard-coded me. So all of the data that I am needing for the settings page, I am fetching from here, profile page. Then I am having a rig. So this is the person that I wanted to video call. Now in the real-time application, real life application, we are not going to hard codedly pass these variables, but we are going to fetch that from the API as JSON and create object from that. But for currently, we are just going to use this hard coded rig here, and then I'm going to call that. Awesome. So basically, inside the user model, I have created 3 more fields here, basically 2. I added a UUID, that means the unique user ID that I am passing, and a Firebase token. So what Firebase token is that, let me open Paint again. If you know what it is, then you can skip this part ahead as well. So basically, this is our phone again, and this is our phone again. Now each of these phones has a different token. So for example, this is this phone's token, and this token is this one. Okay. Now with the help of these tokens, we can call the Firebase messaging API. So basically we have this Firebase messaging API and tell it that we have to send a notification to this particular user having this ID, and then it will automatically send that particular notification or data to that user having that particular token. Okay, so in this way we have this structure, so that with the help of tokens we can send some data and messages even if the app is terminated or in the background, then also it will work. So for that, I added a UUID and Firebase token inside our user model. So inside user, as you can see, this is my Firebase token that I am passing, and this is a random user ID that I am passing here. Same I am doing with Rick. This Firebase token is from another phone which I am having right here, which I'll show you with the demo. And then this is also a random user ID. Then we are having this function which I'll talk about in just a moment. But before that, we are having in our main function awesome notification.initialize. So here we are basically initializing the notification, the awesome notification plugin that we are having. Then I'm initializing the Firebase, and after then we have Firebase messaging dot on background message. So this line is important. Whenever we receive a message and the app is in background, either terminated or in the background, then this function that I just skipped, this function will be called. Okay, what it will take a remote message, and then we can use that message and fetch data from here, like the room ID, the caller name, user ID, has video, and all these things that we are having. So I'm going to get back here after a while, then it will make much more sense. After this, after initializing the background message, what will happen in the background message occurs. We are having our basic app which we have talked about in previous videos, but what I have created is that inside our views, inside call page, I have a calling page. So this is where all of the good stuff is happening. First, I created a enum here. So basically the status of the call, if it is calling, if it is accepted, or it is ringing, right? Calling is, for example, person A is calling to person B, then on mobile A's phone, the calling status will be set to calling. If B accepted A's call, then inside A phone, the call status will be accepted. And if B is ringing A's phone, then the A call status will be ringing. Right? So these three status I have applied here. Then inside our call accept decline page, we are having our user call status and room ID, which we can get from other widgets. And here the user is required and the call status we are fetching, whatever that might be, and the room ID as well. After then, I am having the call status, which I'll assign in the init state. That is why I added late here. We have a bottom sheet icons. So basically we have a mute icon, a speaker icon, a microphone slash icon, a video icon, a Bluetooth icon, etc. Then this WebRTC logic class I'm going to talk about in a while. And basically this is the class where all of the, you can say, main functionality is written, like accepting the call, hanging up the call, assigning the WebRTC renderers, and then calling the database to store the room ID. So all of this is happening inside our WebRTC logic class. So I've created an object from there. Then I have created a local renderer and remote renderer for the video calling. For audio calling, we don't have to show the local and remote renderer. Okay, and then we are having a room ID. So basically inside the init state, I am passing the call status. If we are passing, then widget.call status, else call status will be calling. After then I am initializing the WebRTC. So initialize WebRTC right here. And we have local renderer.initialize and remote renderer.initialize. After then I am simply passing on add remote stream. So basically whenever a user is added or is connected, so for example I call person B, so whenever person B is connected with person A, then this function, this callback will be called, where we are getting this src object of the person B, and we are setting that value from the stream so that we can show the remote renderer if it is video calling. We are setting this. After then we are using the open user media function, which is nothing but, if I'll talk about that in a moment also, but in a nutshell, we are basically accessing the audio and video part of. So basically here we are passing the audio and video as parameters. So I can simply open that, and in a nutshell we can pass what media devices permissions we have to access and show. For example, video can be true and audio can be true as well. Okay, after then if the calling status is calling, that means the user is calling the somebody else, then we are going to create a room which will return a room ID, and then we are going to send notification request to friend to accept call. So basically we are calling our REST API that I have written in Python Flask, and we are passing a room ID and widget.user. Else, if the user is not calling, if the call is accepted or if it is ringing, then we are simply going to get the room ID from widget.room ID, and then we are going to join the room. So in the init state, if the calling status is not calling, then we are going to join the room with that particular room ID. After then, the main question is what is happening in the API. So if I call it here, you can see that I am passing some of the important information to this API, that user.uid, the phone number, the name, and the Firebase token and room ID as well. After then, I'm doing a post request right here for that particular API URL to send a notification to that particular Firebase token. Got it. So basically, whenever a notification is sent from the API, our my background message handler will trigger, and then this will receive the message. So for example, if A called B, then all of the details of A with the room ID will be shared with the person B as a notification data. So I'm fetching that here, the room ID, the caller name, the user ID, has video, etc. And then I'm using the awesome notification package to create a notification. And here I am in the action buttons. I'm passing the title, body, channel key, and ID of the notification as well. Inside action buttons, I am passing decline or accept. So the user can accept the call and decline the call. The important part here is that the key. So as you can see in the decline, the key is decline. But in the accept, the key is accept. Then we have a hyphen, and after then I am passing the room ID here. Okay, so whenever the user clicks on accept or decline, we have to listen that as well. So for that, I'm doing this part inside our root page.dart. So as you can see in the init state, I have created listen. This listen is nothing but I have created a stream subscription right here known as action stream subscription, and in that I am listening to all of the messages that is occurring. So for example, if I click the button accept, then it is checking if the button key press starts with accept. Then we are going to navigate to the call accept decline page, and I am going to set the call status to accepted and room ID from the button key press that we are having. So I am passing the room ID here also, right? Wait a minute. So as you can see, accept hyphen room ID. So that is why I am replacing the accept and underscore with the empty string, so that it will just the room ID that is remaining. If it is decline, then we can simply decline the call and remove that room from the database, and then notify person A as well that the person B has declined the call. But I have not created that functionality yet in the app. I'm going to work on that as well. So basically it will navigate to the call accept decline page here. Awesome. So in the init state, we have talked about all this. In the dispose method, I am passing local renderer.dispose, remote renderer.dispose, and then WebRTC dot hang up the local renderer. So it is going to hang up that particular user. It will end the call. Now in the get body, I am basically creating the UI for calling, for accepting, and for ringing. If there is any other status in future, then I'll add that as well. So for calling and accepted, it is completed. and these are almost same. So for example, for calling, I am passing height of 100. So let me show you the UI as well. If I click on the mobile button, you can see the UI is something like that. Let me hot reload as well. So as you can see, the UI looks like this. I'm going to change the UI as well. So for example, I want to call William David, then it will show calling, and it will show all these buttons right here, like to end the call, to mute it, to set it on Bluetooth, to add speaker, and all of these buttons that we are having. I'm going to change the icons and a UI also in this page to improve that as well. So inside, if the status is calling, then I'm passing height as 100, and I'm creating a column here with 150 width and height as box shape dot circle, which you can see right here the image. After then height of 16 with a heading of widget.user.name, the name of the particular user. Then I'm passing the size box height and then calling, and that's it. In the accepted, instead of saying calling, I've basically created a count up widget. So what this will do is that this will start to count up like a countdown, but instead of going down, it will go up like 0 second, 1 second, 2 second. So it will represent how much time is being taken on the call with the chat of person A and person B. Okay, so I'm passing all this right here. Great. So this is the UI part for this as well. So let me show you a demo how it's working. So I have configured Rick Roland right here. So I'm going to click on here and I'm going to call this particular user. So as you can see, the UI looks like this right here. And from here we can see that status success. That means that our message is successfully sent to Rick Roland to the phone. And if I show you the screen recording, or I am going to pass a screenshot as well, you can see this notification appearing right here that Rick Roland is calling. Quick up, right? And we have two buttons, green button as accept and decline as well. So if I accept the call, you can see that I am directly opening, it's directly opening the app, and now I can hear my own voice from the two phones, and it's echoing right now. So I'm going to put a phone away, and the audio chat is perfectly working. The buttons right now, so I'm going to go back to hang up the call, and now it's hung up, and my original phone is nothing saying right now, and the call is hung up. So this way we have successfully created a Flutter WebRTC app where we've set up the audio calling. For the video calling, it is pretty easy. We have already done all of the things right here. We have the local renderer and we have the remote renderer as well. We just have to show these renderers in the UI, and that's it. Also, I wanted to show you the backend part, the Python part. So inside this WhatsApp application, I created a folder right here known as API. and inside main.py we have this send notification, right? That I am calling inside our api.dart file right here. So this API URL and send notification endpoint. So this is nothing but we are calling this send notification inside Flask Python, and if the request method is post that we are calling http.post, then we are getting the JSON, whatever JSON we are passing, that means all of these details, and then we are going to send notification with that particular data, and then we are going to return status success. So if I search here as well, the log is removed, but you can see that it is successfully returned. If I go to the send notifications, I have inside the modules folder, I have Firebase functions.py, right? So basically, here is where you have to add your database URL, and here you have to create a certificate known as service account key.json. So I'm going to make a separate video on how to send notification from Python and Firebase admin. So if you're interested in that, then do let me know in the comments below as well. I'm going to make a detailed video how we are sending the notifications from Firebase using Python. But in a nutshell, we are simply calling this function right here to send our notification. So that is it, right? We have created a WebRTC application with audio implemented. The video is not implemented yet, but while pushing the code to the GitHub for this part, I'm going to implement the video as well. I just have to add that in the UI. So that is it for this video that I wanted to show you. In the next part, what we will be covering is that these two buttons are completed, right? This button is completed as well. What is left is the messaging part, which I'm not going to touch right now. The main thing that I wanted to do is the profile screen, the UI first, right? So I have to create this UI where whenever user clicks here or the profile photo, I'm going to create the UI for that. And also I wanted to create the UI whenever for the edit profile as well. So these profile UIs I have to create first, and then I have to update some of the UI screen as well. So I guess that 1 or 2 videos we have to make more on covering the UI inside this application, and then we can move on to the messaging, the main part of this chat app. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you do, then make sure to give thumbs up. Also, I've upgraded my gears in this video like tripod, like mic and green screen. Then if you have any suggestions for me, then make sure to drop below that as well in the comments, and I'll read them out as well. So I'm Yashmakan. Peace out.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.